it might seem a little strange stood in a wood waving a camera around and talking about making portraits, but this is probably the place that influenced me the most when I first started making portraits, and still does. Um, I was like everybody else, on teetering on the edge of doing things the way that others did. You know, the sort of the linear progression of practice and skill development and techniques, and it was just so unfulfilling for me. Yeah, I could have spent the last 4 years, which is how long it's taken me to get to where I am, doing exactly that and just getting better at the production side of things and just doing it like anyone else. But I wanted more from my portraits because I do this because it brings me joy. I don't expect to be have any kind of accolades or be exhibited or anything like that. So it's not to please anyone else. It's just to please myself. So why not do that? Why put myself through any kind of pain? You know, as people call it, the struggle, when I could just not struggle and have a ball. And that was kind of where I was coming from. So walking around here in the morning, as I do, I was thinking about anything but the technique, anything but the skill. What was it that makes portraits portraits? What's the special thing that I needed to do? And it was ultimately about capturing the essence. That was what it was about. Somewhat, everybody has a life force that we need to, in some way, encapsulate in our portraits. That was the goal, to try and do that, and it still is. It's always about the essence. So it's never about eyelashes and the colours of their eye, of their iris. And it's always about what's behind the eye that's important. And as soon as I realised that, my portraits changed. I was no longer on that treadmill of skill progression and technique. I was now just making portraits as a direct response, and however they turned out, they turned out. And even to this day, you'll see, I mean, I talk about that's a long time. It's only 4 years, but you'll see the difference between portraits. Some are highly finished and some aren't, and some because they require a different kind of response. I respond in a different way. It's not a conscious thing. It's just a human ability to connect with other humans. That's what I try to harness in my portraits. So I'm going to go back to the studio now, and hopefully you will see what I'm talking about in the portraits that I make. Okay, I'm back in the studio and surrounded by portraits, as you can see. I've just done a live with that one, but most recent ones, I think the other night was this one, when I was trying to explain about this, you know, this spontaneous zero expectation and not focusing on the mechanical aspect of it, which is what you're seeing in this one. It's here as well. This is because I have this attitude that it's not really about the technique and it's not about the skill. There are skills and techniques involved in it, obviously, but these are the consequence. The drawing thing, it's a consequence. Like last night, whatever, as I said to you earlier, about things tend to turn out differently. These are, you can see there are slightly different changes in the style of it. The hair is slightly different on this one. It's a bit more kind of encapsulated. It's just the way I respond to it. That's the way I feel about it. Equally, the paintings tend to sort of vary in their execution from fairly, accurate, if you like, to something that's a lot more. I mean, that was a fairly accurate one, but something like this, for instance, I don't want these to fall down, so I'll just like that, which is all big brush marks and completely different, you know. But people might think that it was me experimenting, I suppose, but I'm not. I'm not conscious of doing anything like that. I'm just responding to what I see, and it's how they turn out. So as you can see, I've got an awful lot of portraits hanging around. But yeah, I'm going to draw something now. So just hang on a minute while I reset things, and I'll draw another one of these, and I'll talk you through the process. So this is my setup. The uh, usual drawing board, and it's on a desk, modified desk easel. The paper I use is anything I get my hands on, and the charcoal I use is homemade charcoal. As you can see, there's lots of it in there. Hazelwood. I make charcoal from hazelwood, so I might put a clip into this, and you'll see the little oven that I cook in. The image is on the screen at the side of me. It can be that way, or it can be turned the other way around. Doesn't make much difference. The most important thing is that I'm at arm's length from where I'm working. I don't need to be too close to it, because of the getting things in the right place is quite critical. Also, the centre is a little bit higher there, so I'm going to drop it a little bit. It's because I've been painting with it, and I move it down accordingly. So it's important that it's only a small amount, but it's important that the centre of the paper is my eye level, because then I don't get any proportion problems with distortion rather. And that's it. It's not. There's nothing more complicated than that. And as I said, the whole thing initially is about response. It's not about anything other than that. I'm only trying to find the position of things at this stage, but it is primarily a responsive thing. It's how I kind of feel about the face. You can see it's quite a different way of approaching it. I'm not trying to draw at this stage. Drawing isn't in my mind at all. At this stage, it's just figuring out where everything is, and I kind of have a shorthand for doing this. So I'm doing it now, and it's just gradually going. And what happens? It will gradually. Because it's in the thing. It squeaks for some reason. I've no idea. But it gradually starts to manifest and take shape, and I just go along those lines. I go through the position of things, which is usually the dots. If you've done the course, you'll know it's the three dots, either those three dots or whatever three dots I think I can use as anchors, and then into the shapes, and then from the shapes. To find the shapes, I usually apply tone. I do apply tone and manipulate the tone to find the shapes. So it kind of grows organically in that respect. So I'm not drawing outlines and then I colour them in. You can see on this one it's the same kind of thing. It's like, as you've just seen the one I've just taken off. There isn't an outline which I'm going to apply tone to. So it isn't like that for me. As I said earlier, it's not about the skill side of things, and I realised that how important that is to me. That it mustn't be about the skill side of things. It's just because I'm the type that would just go all out on the skills, and I don't think I would. I don't think I'd carry on doing it. I'd be back again. I'd be packing it in because it's not enjoyable if it's about the skills for me. Some people revel in the skill development side of things, or the sort of highly detailed executions, and that's their thing. But for me, I could never enjoy doing that. So, as I said, it is as you can see, it's a kind of a progressive exploration of a face, and really. At this stage, it's not the response isn't that visible. My emotional response to it isn't that visible. I still feel the essence thing. I do feel it at this stage, but primarily it'll be in the eyes or something. It will be the twinkle that I've got to try and capture in the eye. It's that's where I see the essence of things. So it is to some degree a mechanical thing, but the mechanics are only driven by the way I feel about the subject. They're not as you can tell, they're not the usual sort of approach to drawing. None of it is. I like the, when I call it the early starts with the students, the way that they send me things and I just always say, send me your starts, don't send me your finished. And I can tell from the starts where they're going wrong. Um, and that's, you can see this is where the start is now. It's all about the suggestion of things and the implication of things. As I said, it's a very organic process for me. So this is the finished, almost. Drawings are never finished, but you know what I mean. Portrait, and it's it's one of those situations like I've just implied there. You kind of want to carry on, but there's no need because it's the, has it caught the essence? Let me just move the camera. Has it caught the essence of that face? That is the question. If it's caught the essence of the face, then there is, whatever you do after this is really irrelevant. There are technical things, and some, the shadow on the side of a nose or whatever it might be, but essentially, has it caught the reference? Has it caught the essence of the reference or the essence of the subject? And the answer is yes. Invariably, I'll stop. I'll probably tinker with it for a while and just, odd things that I'm not happy with, I'll just tidy up. But essentially, it's caught the essence of this person, and I'm quite happy with that.